I want you to see how much water I'm using in here. And I already wet the surface. I'm not trying to do anything fancy. I just want you to see if I have a blossom. Let's go ahead and dry this. See that that's a little drier, that's a little wetter. So if I come back in and I apply any color, and I'm thinking that this is all turning out fine. Okay, so it's getting a blossom. So does this seem very familiar? A couple of options. We can use that blossom. That's why I wanted you to experiment with that house. So what I would do in this situation is I would actually maybe add a little more water to it, depending on how wet that surface is. Okay, so this, and then what I might do is force it over there. So I have different ways of handling it. Or I could come back up here, add more of that. You see how that just disappeared?
Yeah.
I just wanted a little bit. You can see how it's wetter on the side here. Let's take a look at that surface. And how about if I just, now I'm going to show you something too. Now, if I go from here like that, you can see that that doesn't have a lot of water in it, and that does. If I go from here and try to put that color in here, it just spreads, right? So I'm going to accumulate that water on the bottom, let it move, and keep it tilted, move it around. So what I actually am trying to do is create another blossom in here. And then we'll come back to this in just a moment. Okay, for those brush strokes that we were talking about before, if you have, okay, like when you've come in on dry paper and you have a lot of strokes like that, work in a manageable size area. Taking my number 30 or appropriate size brush. If you're working small, you're going to use a smaller size brush. Don't wait too long. I'm not going over the top. I'm just going over the edge. And I'm softening that hard line. Now, I don't necessarily want them all to be the same size, but I really just wanted to show you how to soften that edge. So let's say I wanted to change that. If you work wet on dry. Now here I just went right over that, which if I go right over it, I've just dissolved all the color and I'm left. Just practice some strokes. Now that to me is much more interesting than those little hard streaks. So I'm removing the extra water and maybe I'll press on my brush, lift it out, change the shape.
Thank you. That looked very familiar.
You mean what, too much water or the?
Yeah, going back into it, yeah.
So when you do that, take your brush, rinse it out, remove the excess water.
Yeah.
Does that work?
It will if I keep doing it that way. It did work the last time I tried it. So what you did just looked like.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay, everyone. So I will see you at our next meeting.